Hey guys, it's MBSC1 again, and I'm going to be talking about the new set FlashFire that comes out on Wednesday, the 7th of January, February, March, of May. Um, so that is in 2 days as I'm making this video, and I'm just going to be talking about the cards that are coming out and how good they are going to be, in my opinion, and that kind of thing. So I'm just going to do everything that I think matters. So I'm just going to skip the Charizards, all of them, because none of them are good, and they won't be a good deck. Not even close to maybe tier 2, but they definitely won't be a tier 1 deck. Yeah, they all just have bad effects, or they're too flippy. With Stoke, that's just too risk oriented, and you have to get too many things. It just the decks have already been tested by people, and I've read articles about it and stuff. And the Charizards are just not going to be good. They will be good for like collectors and stuff. They'll probably be worth a lot of money later. Because if you look at like old Charizards that were printed, they're worth like a ton of money now. But considering competitive play, they're just not going to be important. Um, Other things that people are talking about are Shift Tree. That's not going to be very good in my opinion. You have to discard a grass to draw 3 for the ability. I think that's just a watered down version of Empoleon's ability Diving Draw, because you can discard anything, which can be an execute. So essentially, you're not discarding anything, and I think Empoleon is a lot better. That's just my opinion. Um, it does have pretty good synergy with Milotic, because it has an interesting ability where you can bring a bunch of energy out of your discard pile, and attach them to your Pokemon, or one of your Pokemon, I think, as long as it's a non-EX. But I still think it's not going to be very good. Probably won't see very much competitive play, but it is an interesting card. Let's see what else is there. Rapidash or Ponyta, I believe, has this. They're both bad. Don't. I'm just skipping it. Pyroar is not as good as people think. You might see some play. People have been talking about putting it with Archeops and saying it's going to be the new best deck in the format. It's really not. Garbodor shuts it down pretty well, and a lot of decks run non-EXs, and if they can't get the Archeops out, then you just get around that anyway. You have to have a really good, you have to have a really lucky first and second turn if you want to do well with that Pyroar deck, and that's why I think it won't do very well. I think some people might use it for the first 1 to 3 weeks that it's out, and then after that, pretty much no one's going to use it, and it's not going to see any competitive play. It might win like one tournament in the beginning, like one states or regionals or something, just because people don't really know what to do against about it. But people will quickly figure out what to do, and it won't be a problem. There's this card Quillfish, which actually a lot of people are skimming over, thinking it's nothing, just like, yeah, it's bad. But it is actually fairly good. I think this is a lot better than a lot of the other things people think are going to be good. But anyway, so it's. I'm just going to click on it real quick. I have the FlashFire Bulba Garden thing up right now, and I'm just looking through all the cards. I have some of them. I'll show you the ones I have in my binder in a minute here. But anyway, so it's got 80 HP. It's a water type. Retreat cost is 1. Its ability is when it's knocked out or damaged, put do damage counters on the defending Pokemon. So that is a fairly good. I mean, it's an okay ability. It's not great. But the thing is, the attack for double color or for 2 colorless energy, excuse me. The opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned, and it does 20 damage, which seems kind of bad. But the thing is, it's a non-EX, and if you attach a Bangle to it, it does 100 to something weak to water. So that's 100, and then if you have a Verbank in play and you poison that Pokemon, it's 130. So that actually is not that bad. And I believe it made second at this big, or maybe not second, but it did fairly well at this big tournament in Japan. I don't know if you guys have seen it on Verbank City Gym or something on Facebook, but people have been posting pictures of it. We can't get footage of it here in America, but it's pretty interesting. It was actually played in this Mega Kangaskhan deck that was actually doing fairly well. I'm not sure exactly. I think it was second, or it made top 16 or top 8. Basically, it did pretty well, and it's an interesting deck. But Quillfish is the thing that I thought was interesting, because you can do 130 to a Landorus, for example, which is going to be pretty good with the next set coming out, because there's special fighting energy coming out, which I'm guessing is going to make fighting type Pokemon do 10 more damage, or maybe it'll have 20 more HP. We don't really know yet, but that's just what I'm guessing. So Quillfish, I already talked about Milotic. Love Disc has an interesting attack. It's flip a coin. If heads, your opponent can't draw a card. So that's kind of funny. It's not good or anything. I just thought it was interesting. There's a lot of cards that are coming out that are interesting, but they're not that great. So the first EX, I have my Magma Zone right here, so I just thought I'd show it to you guys. I don't know how much you can really see that. Here. Magma Zone EX. It is pretty bad, to be honest. So 100 HP, electric type for DCE or 2 colors energy. It does 40 damage, which is pretty bad. And then its second attack for 3 electric energy is dual bullet, and this attack does 50 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. And it's got a hefty 3 retreat cost and a weakness to fighting. So for those reasons, I do not think it's going to be very good or playable. So yeah, it's not the best. I'll just, since I have my binder out, I'll just show you guys all the stuff that I got. We also have Mega Kangaskhan EX. I don't think this is going to be that great either, but like I said, there was a tournament where it did fairly well in Japan. It's the one where you can win the Charizard trophy. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but anyway, it did well at that, so maybe it's okay. But its only attack is Wham Bam Punch, which is the funniest name ever, to be honest. This does 100 damage plus you flip a coin until you get tails, and its attack does 30 more damage for each heads. 230 HP. It's a Mega Pokemon, so you have to end your turn right when you play it, and it's got a 3 retreat cost and weakness to fighting. So the 3 retreat cost actually might come in handy with this card because you can Heavy Ball for it, so that's fairly nice. And then the attack, I think, is pretty bad, just by the fact that it does well, I mean, it's okay, because it does 100 for 3 colorless energy, so that's a DCE and an attachment, which is pretty good, to be honest. But the thing is, you have to flip to do more damage, and I'm not sure how great it is, but I don't know, I mean, it's fairly good, to be honest. The only problem with it is it's a Mega Pokemon, so you have to end your turn when you attach it, so that's pretty much my only problem with it. And then, what else did I get? I guess there's nothing in my binder here. I'll get you guys the Toxicroak I got. I think Toxicroak has a lot of potential, and I'll show you why in a second here. This is my actual deck. I thought it had some potential, so I threw it in my deck. Okay, here it is. Is there anything else I have in here that... Oh yeah, there's a Druddigon, which I think is amazing. Okay, so these are 2 of the 3 cards that I think are the best that come out of this set. Toxicroak and Druddigon. Druddigon, I think, is the best card that came out of this set. So, the reason it's good is because it's the first attack, Revenge. It does 20 plus 70 more if you had a Pokemon get knocked out by damage last turn from an opponent's attack. So that's 90. And it's Dragon type, as you can see. This got a one-shot Black Kyurem and one-shot Rayquaza EX. So that is very good. I think if you run 2 of these in your deck and you have double colorless energy, or just some energy acceleration, this is going to be very good. It's got, it also has a weakness to Fairy, which is interesting because, you know, Fairies aren't very good right now. At least any Fairy-type Pokemon aren't very good right now. So, this thing will not be easily one-shotted by Fairies, unless it's doing 110 damage, obviously, because that'll knock it out. But, yeah, and then the second attack isn't very good. But basically, it's good for the attack Revenge. Then there's this card. This is probably my favorite card to come out of the set. Its first attack, triple poison for 2 colorless energy. It poisons the defending Pokemon, and they take 3 damage between turns instead of 1. And then with Burbank out, it does 5 damage between turns. So that's very good, in my opinion. It also works well with Dragalge, I believe that's how you pronounce it. And it makes it so the defending Pokemon cannot... Or, it makes it so that if a Pokemon is poisoned, it cannot retreat. So you can put it with this, and then it does 50 going into their turn, and 50 back into yours, and it's like 100 damage for double colorless energy, and that's amazing. The only problem is Virizion EX is out, so it has that ability Verdant Wind that can shut off poison. But if you're running this with Garbodor, then it gets around that anyway. So that's really nice. Also, Garbodor will shut down Keldeo EX rushing in to get out of the poison. I love this card. I think it's very good, and it definitely has some potential. I was testing it in my Yveltal Garbodor deck, but I feel like unless you have multiple switching cards, it's not going to work out that very well, because you need to be able to switch out of Toxicroak if your opponent stays poisoned through the turn, because the thing is, you're essentially attacking for nothing if your opponent's active Pokemon is already poisoned, because, you know, they're already poisoned, so they're already going to take that 50 damage. So you need to have a switching card or a ready to retreat or something less than a... oh yeah, also it has a 1 retreat cost, which is important. But you need some other way besides retreating to switch him out of the active position. You could do that with Keldeo if you're not running Garbodor, but the thing is I am, and I only have one switch in my deck at the moment. I had none, but I decided to go with one. I've tested both, and I think one is good. But anyway, yeah, I think you definitely need multiple switch if you want to run that in a Yveltal Garbodor deck. Let's go with some of the trainers I got. Oh, this is the best. This is one of the best cards that come out of the set. Lysander, you've probably heard about this card. It's a Pokemon catcher, except it always flips heads. So it's just switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with one of his or her active Pokemon, and it's a supporter, so it's just catcher and supporter for him. But it's still amazing. I think this is going to be played in most decks. I'm not playing it in my deck because I have random receiver, and if you random receiver into a Lysander, you're going to be disappointed a lot of the time. Palpad is another one that came out. I'm considering running this. I just don't know if I have room for it at the moment, and I'm not sure how good it is. I'll definitely test it, and I'll probably end up adding it, but I'm not sure at the moment. So this just lets you shuffle 2 supporters back into your deck. Pretty simple. You can junk hunt for it too. It's really good. What else came out? Then we have Starling Megaphone, which is horrible for my deck because I'm running Garbodor. I mean, it's not horrible, but it's definitely not good. Sorry about that noise. It's just discard all tools on your opponent's side of the field, I believe. Yeah, discard all Pokemon tools attached to each of your opponent's Pokemon. So you can't discard your own tools, which kind of stinks, and you can't choose to not discard a tool on your opponent's side of the field. And there's only one situation where I can think of where that would matter, is if your opponent has a Genesect with a Muscle Band, and you don't want them to be able to put a G-Booster on that. You might not want to Scrabber that, but that's the only situation that I can think of. My friend pointed that out to me, and I thought that was kind of funny. That's the only situation where I can think of that it would matter. Then we've got Blacksmith. This is not that great. Might be okay in the future if a fire deck becomes good besides Raybor, because Raybor doesn't need any more energy acceleration. That's essentially what this is. Excuse me. Sorry about that. So it's a supporter, and then you attach 2 fire energy cards from your discard pile to one of your fire type Pokemon. I think this was just meant to give Charizard some energy acceleration, but either way, I don't think it's that great, especially because it's a supporter, so it's going to use up your supporter for the turn, which is not good at all. So it also has some synergy with Fire Torch, and I'll show you what that does in a minute if I have any. But, I mean, I'll tell you what it does either way. This is another one that came out. I had the full art of this, but I traded it for a full art Yveltal because I really like full art Yveltal. But anyway, it's Pokemon Fan Club. It's a supporter. It's I believe it's a reprint, and it's also just a directly worse version of a card that was in HSG. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, the effect of the card is you search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon, reveal them, and put them into your hand, and then you shuffle your deck. So you don't put them straight onto your bench, you put them into your hand, so that's nice. It might be good. I think it's a really cool card that they have in the set. It'll give evolution decks just a little bit more consistency, which is really nice. I can see myself maybe running 1 or 2 in my Greninja Kingdra deck. You know, it might be good. And then there's Magnetic Storm, which is a stadium, and it makes it so that each Pokemon in play has no resistance. It's not very good. Might be alright. I'm not really even taking it out because it's not that important. What else did I get in here? Oh, this is Dragalge, like I said. Or Dragalge, or however you pronounce it. So, ability, your opponent's poison Pokemon can't retreat. 100 HP, it's a stage 1, dragon type. Its attack is not very good. For a water, a psychic, and a colorless, it does 60, and you flip a coin if heads your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned. Also has weakness to fairy and a 1 retreat cost. This is the promo version. This is number 10 in the X and Y promo set. What else do I have here? Traded most of the stuff, to be honest, because a lot of the stuff in the set I just do not need. While I'm looking for something, I'll tell you guys another card that came out, Flame Torch. You discard a fire energy from your hand, and then you can draw 2 cards, and it's an item. I don't know, it's fairly good. It could be good in Raybor, but the thing is that they already have extra draw support with what's it called? What's that? Delphox. Excuse me. That was it. So it might not be necessary. Miltank is, I think this is an extremely good card. It does 10 damage plus 70 more if you have a stage 2 Pokemon on your bench, and it's a common, which is cool too. This would work really well in King Trigger Ninja, I think. Also maybe in, well, probably not. Maybe in Gothitelle Excelgor. I mean Treven Excelgor. Um, I just think it's a really cool card to have. It's 80 for 1 energy, so that's really powerful, obviously. And I think it's all this. Yeah, that's all the stuff I got from the new set. That at least matters. So let me see if there's anything I missed. I'll check FlashFire Skynes and Bulbapedia one more time. Oh, there's Dusknoir. So Dusknoir has this ability, where you can move as often as you like. You may move 1 damage counter from one of your Pokemon to this Pokemon. So you can move like 120 damage from your Pokemon to Dusknoir and then just max potion it off, which is really cool. It's got 130 HP, so that's why you can only move 120, obviously, because then it would knock it out. It's weak to Dark, just like the other one. It has a 3 retreat cost, just like the other one. Its attack is probably not going to be that great. I actually haven't read it until now. Put damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon equal to the number of damage counters on this Pokemon. Actually, that's better than I thought it would be. It takes a Psychic and 2 colorless energy. So, yeah, you can move 120 to it and then just put 120 on the defending Pokemon, so that's not horrible. But the thing is, it's not transferring the damage off Dusknoir, it just does that much damage. So you're still going to have 120 damage on Dusknoir, and it'll pretty much be knocked out by an Execute. I mean, anything will knock it out. But the reason why this is good is because you can have both Dusknoirs in a deck. So you could have 1 Dusknoir moving damage on your opponent's side of the field, and then 1 Dusknoir on your side of the field moving damage. So yeah, that's an easy way to just splash one in if you already have one. If you already have a Dusknoir line in your deck. So let's see what else is there. I don't know how you would use that competitively though. I know that, what's her name? Mia something, I think, did well with a Dusknoir Darkrai deck at one point, so that might help that deck. Toxicroak, I already went over that. Oh, Barbarnacle is kind of interesting. It's attack for 2 fighting energies. You discard as many fighting as you want from your hand, and you do 30 damage times the amount of fighting you discard. So you can use Superior Energy Retrieval and get back like 4 fighting energy, and then just discard all those, and maybe just have 1 more in your hand, and maybe have a Bangle, and then you're doing 180. I don't know how consistent it would be though, and I don't know if it would really be that great. But it is a stage 1, so that's nice, and it's got 130 HP, I think. Let me just check real quick. 110 HP, actually. Its second attack isn't very good. It's got a 2 retreat cost, and I think that's about all that matters. It also has the ugliest design in all history of Pokemon. That's a fact. That's right. I don't think there's much else. I think Flabébé, or what is it? Florges has this cool ability where each of your grass Pokemon gets 20 more HP. Or maybe it's Floette. Either way, one of them has that ability. It's not that great, just worth mentioning. Like I said, Charizard's bad. Oh, regular. So I talked about Mega Kangaskhan, the regular Kangaskhan. I also want to go over real quick. Its first attack is triple draw. Just draw 3 cards. Sorry, my throat dries out when I'm talking. 3 retreat cost. For 3 colorless energy. Its second attack is Kindred Kick for 70, and then you flip a coin. If heads, it does 30 more damage. So that's, I mean, it's meh. That's what it is. And yeah, I guess that's about it. It's not that great. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, Pokemon Center Lady is the supporter that came out. 60 damage. You heal 60 damage. And then you heal all special conditions too. And I believe it has to be from the active Pokemon. No, it's just one of your Pokemon, so you can heal any of them. Obviously, you're not going to be able to take advantage of the special condition effect if it's a Pokemon on your bench, but that shouldn't matter too much. Lopunny has a cool ability. You can just return it to your hand and Meltar's attached to it whenever you want. I used that a lot in the pre-release I went to. I got 2nd place using Lopunny and what was the other one? Lopunny, Geodude, and I think it was what was that grass one? I'm totally going, you guys don't care at all. Maractus. Anyway, tier 1 deck at a pre-release. Just putting that out there. Um, Blacksmith, Fiery Torch, Legend. Oh, Protection Cube is an item that you can attach, and it makes it so your Pokemon can't do damage to yourself. Not very important, but I just thought I'd mention it. Sacred Ash, you can shuffle up to 5 Pokemon from your discard pile back into your deck. And then there's also Trick Shovel, thanks, which makes it so that you look at the top card of your deck or your opponent's deck, and then you can discard it or put it back on top of your deck. They reprinted Ultra Ball. But Trick Shovel's horrible, by the way. It's just an item, so I thought I'd mention it. Ultra Ball is just a reprint. That's like the 1.5 million. They've basically what I'm trying to say is they've reprinted Ultra Ball way too many times. Okay, and that's it. No, this video is way too long, and I totally should edit it. I just don't have any software for it, and this is probably made pretty badly. You just saw my mom walk in. This is mac and cheese. Thanks for watching this horrible video. I haven't posted one in like 3 weeks. I just thought I should. By next week, I will have a Toxicroak Sableye sort of Hover Toxin type deck built, or at least I'll have a list for it, and I'll have tested with it a little bit, and I'll put that up. I have a current Yveltal Garbodor list made, and that's like perfect. At least before FlashFire came out, it's perfect. But it's pretty similar to the ones I've already posted, and I feel like I've posted a bunch of Yveltal Garbodor lists, so I don't really want to put it out there again, because it'll just be like a repeat video, and you guys won't really care. I probably won't watch it either. I mean, maybe you will, but it'll be pretty much a waste of your time if you've already seen the other ones. Yeah, I think that's about it. So thanks for watching. Subscribe for more if you like, and then like the video if you like the video, and comment if you want to tell me something. Sorry this was so long. But thanks for watching. There's my microwave.